Hello and welcome to the Biokinetic K9. We've had a small technical issue, but we're up and running, so we're running a little bit late. But today's show, we're talking about when all is said and done. What is this about? Let me see. Okay. My guys are sitting there saying, I'm good to go. So what am I talking about there today? But we're talking about exercises versus exercises. What is the difference? There's a lot of things about what exercise to do for what you want to achieve. But before we go into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Angela Ahern. I am the owner and founder of the Biokinetic K9. And you are watching us live today. So when all is said and done. So when we are talking about S.A.I.D, and we're talking about the acronym S.A.I.D, what are we talking about? We are actually talking about specificity. One of those. So what is that all about? It is actually something that your rehab specialists use, and also your sports coaches. They really go into this S.A.I.D principle. And what this is all about is it is the principle that your specific exercises will place specific demands on the body, and the body will adapt. So we are talking about it's a specific adaptation to imposed demands. So the imposed demands that is placed on a body, human or dog, that body will adapt to those demands. So how does this work for us? We are talking about how the body adapts to what we ask of it. So if you are doing a sport, a lot of people say, well, I'm doing a sport, I'm training for the sport, so the body adapts for the sport. There you go. And so it does. But what also happens is, Annika, hi, nice of you to still be around, even though we're running a little bit behind our time schedule on this end. So what we are on about is, what happens if you're training and you're training and you're training and your dog is not improving? What do you do there? How do you get more from your dog? How do you get, your dog can give more, but it's just not showing in your training. And we're not talking about your training techniques, etc. You can be a really good handler and you can have really good training, but your dog, it's just not giving all that it's got. Maybe it's because sometimes your dog can't give all that it's got because its body isn't functioning properly. Maybe sometimes with the sports that we're doing, and most of the sports that we do, that body is a little bit unbalanced in muscle development. And you'll see that as you're doing different things in your sport, the body requires a better balance in muscle strength on both sides of the body. And that's why your dog could not be giving all that it's got, because one side is a little bit weaker or a little bit tighter than the other side, but you don't know yet. So when it comes to that S.A.I.D principle, it's about giving specific demands on the body, and the body adapts to it. And how do you go about this? If you look at, for example, I actually asked a sprinter. It's the only sprinter that I know, and he's really good. He's in the South African team, and he sprints the 200-meter sprint. And he was asking me, what exercises should I do for my dog? So I said, you need to do exercises that is specific for your dog's sport. It's no good you doing a whole lot of exercises that's not going to enhance the requirements of his sport. Now, this is part of that S.A.I.D principle. And he said to me, what do I mean? So I asked him, well, you are a sprinter. What exercises do you do for your sport? So he was just about to go through them. And then I asked him, do you jog? And he said, jog? I said, yeah, like small marathons, you jog for jogging. And he said, no, never. I stay away from jogging like you cannot believe. I said, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Why don't you jog? He says, because it develops the wrong kind of muscle for what I need. I said, well, the same thing happens with your dog. So when we are doing, for example, IGP or agility or flyball, all those powerful, fast sports where your dog needs that retracted coil of energy in their body so that they can move explosively forward, why are we jogging our dogs? I understand that the dogs need a cardiovascular exercise. We all need that optimal ability for the heart-lung oxygenation process to go through the body. But dogs are also natural cardio athletes. They can do this quite easily, naturally, and if we train them to do cardiovascular, yeah, they can do it. And a lot of, especially for your German Shepherd, they've got to do an AD or an endurance test. So the dogs, they are trained to run distances. Lorinda, hi. I said, but when we come into our actual sport, like IGP or Schutzhund and agility and flyball and most of the sports that require fast, strong movements, a lot of people will go and jog their dog 2-3 times a week. But that sport or that exercise is not going to enhance their sport. It doesn't make their dog faster. It doesn't help with those explosive movements. And that's where that S.A.I.D principle comes in. So just like this guy doesn't do marathons for his dog, a lot of jogging with your dog is not going to help your sport if your sport involves explosive movements. So how do you train your dog to get that recoil in a spring strength, that explosive movement? You need to do exercises that's going to help develop those muscles. So that's when we're talking about exercises versus exercises. Exercise is not all exercises is going to give you the goal that you require. You want to do exercises that's going to help put stress on the right kind of muscles so that those muscles can improve and become stronger. But not only stronger, you want them to be able to become biomechanically better in doing what they're doing, but also neurologically better. So what I'm talking about, like with people, that hand-eye coordination. What dog ever out there does a side step? No dogs do this naturally out of their own. But we are asking our dogs to do this when they are fighting the helper. They've got to fight the helper. They've got their mouth on the sleeve here and they're running sideways and then trying to pull this helper sideways with their body, and they are sidestepping. It's not a movement that comes naturally to a dog. So you want to do exercises that work the nerve patterns through the body so the dog can, when it comes and there's stress on the dog has to perform, those nerve patterns are already there, and those muscles to do that movement, that hand-eye coordination that we humans use, that muscle movement is there so that the body of the dog can just do the movement without it becoming too complicated. And they know how to move their body easily. It's like if I have to go and do dancing now, and that whole sequence of step, ball change, etc. Oh no, please just forget it. I'm useless at that stuff unless I start off really slowly and understand that, oh, if I move my foot this way, then my hip has to go that way, and I have to use this part of my foot when I do the movements. And for me to process that, I have to work it really slowly until it becomes, oh, I can do this, and then I do it with speed, and then I can do it stronger, and I can really perform. But unless I know what I need to do, and that whole thought process throughout the body has to happen, I'm going to be looking like an idiot, and I can hurt myself if I have to just go and do that and fly through the air like some of these professional people do. The same thing happens with the dog. So it's exercise versus exercises. If you take even, I know of someone that jogs, they are excellent distance runners, half marathons, and it's something that relaxes them. They'll go run 5 to 10 kilometers at a time. They do this no problem. But ask them to sprint up the stairs and they are out of breath. Their muscles are not used to that kind of movement. Same thing with the dog. So if you are going to be doing a whole lot of your dog is in a sport that requires fast, explosive movements, etc., and you're going to go and jog your dog, and you're going to go and swim your dog, and you're going to do a little bit of CrossFit training, no amount of CrossFit training is going to make that performance what it's supposed to be. Fast, explosive, and powerful, because you're not doing the exercises that are helping that body to become fast, explosive, and powerful in the movements that he needs to do on the field. There's no swimming movements in IGP that I can really see that's going to help the dog. The dog is going to be able to do cardiovascular. It's a really good thing. And there's a little bit of joint stabilization, depending on how the dog swims, mind you, because all dogs don't swim the same. Some wear life vests, some can swim on their own, some swim like this, others swim like that. So it all depends on how the dog swims. But you need to do sport specific. So that specificity of exercise and training is really important when you are doing sports with your dogs. We're not talking about general all-round fitness and let's go for a hike, etc. We're talking about enhancing your dog's sport. You're asking him to put all in. You have to help him with his body, because they're doing a lot of movements. If a dog has to go and fight whatever person out there naturally, they don't do this every day. It's not a repetition thing like we are asking of our dogs. We're asking them to repeat the fight and to fight in a particular way, asking them to jump in a certain way, to jump and turn tight, go through weave poles. They don't do this every day, and so they don't need to do it at speed. Now we've got time trials on our dogs. They must go really fast, and they must be able to use their body maximally with the least amount of wasted effort, and it must be powerful. And that's what we're asking of the dogs, but we're not training the dog's body to be that way for the sport. It's easy to do it for fun, but for sport, no. You need to be more concise, and you have to do your work more purposefully. And that is really important when we are training for our dog's sport. So when it comes to training for sport, and how do you get that explosive energy? How do you start? Well, it's just like I said a little bit earlier, if I have to start dancing, I have to start really slow, and I have to move my body on purpose to get the sequence of events, to let it go through my mind, like, how must I move when I go one part left and the other part right? Which way? What part of my foot works? How do I get those muscles strong so that I can move faster with my hip? How do I get my hip flexors strong? How do I get my glutes strong? How do I get my calf strong? If I'm dancing in heels or standing on toes, all of those things, you start slowly. So what has to happen? A strong performance starts with a strong foundation. Your foundation has to be solid, and your foundation is slow and steady, getting that movement so that the body understands what's happening, how to get those back legs of the dogs to tuck really well, or how to get those dogs' legs to stretch out backwards in a jump, but then be strong enough to tuck in fast enough so that they can land safely and then speed off again. All of these things start with a strong foundation. Doesn't matter where you are in your training, if you don't have those foundations, even if you are training for your sport, your handling skills, your training skills starts off with a strong foundation. Your healing work starts off with a strong foundation between you and your dog, just in relationship. Before anything else happens, you need that strong foundation, because if you don't have that strong foundation, holes comes out in your training, either in your training technique and definitely in your dog's body, for sure. So if you don't have those foundations that are strong and solid, the holes creep up as you progress in your sport. And then you still have to start at the beginning when it comes to preparing the body. So when you're doing your strong foundations, if you have those strong foundations, then there's two things that you can use those for. Number one, the first thing that you can get from your strong foundation is you can get a baseline. You can see how your dog's body is going. You can see where the areas of weakness are in the dog's body. And you can see now, I need to concentrate on this. And you get the exercises for that. I need to concentrate on the back end. There's many posts that I see on social media, especially in my circle, where you'll see people, oh, I need to strengthen my dog's rear end. I'm doing this sport and I think I need to have a stronger core. Or, oh, my dog's shoulders is landing. I need to make it much stronger so that he can land better. Yes, sure, there are possibly weak areas in the body if you're doing sports. Yes, for sure. And you need to strengthen those areas. But it's no good you only strengthening one end without looking at the body as a whole. Because if I want to just move my leg forward, yes, I'm moving my leg forward, but I need to have good glute strength and good hip flexor strength, good muscle spine, muscles that run along the spine to hold my posture, to carry me forward. So you're looking at the entirety of the dog all the time, even though you're just strengthening a certain area. Because in the end, you don't want to cause another imbalance and only have a strong rear end. You want to have a strong dog for the sport that you're doing. So you don't want to have a strong swimmer if you're doing IGP. You want to have a strong dog for the sport that you're doing. So you want to establish your baseline so that you can see what is happening with the dog. This is the baseline. This is where I must proceed from. And then number 2, once you have that baseline, then you can test the performance areas of your dog. And then you can test, and if you're satisfied with this level, then you can progress and you get satisfied for that level, and then you progress further. And so you can test and progress as you go, but you've always got a good baseline from where to proceed. That's why when people just start in the middle, and sometimes we see this on social media, the videos of the dogs doing something that's a wow, and people go, oh, I'm going to start there. You're starting in the middle. Start at the beginning and develop that baseline. It's like actually, my daughter told me right now before the show, she says, she saw this with people as well. If you are out there and you want to train to develop strong glutes, so you're going to go on, so you're going to see this video on YouTube, etc. And there's a write-up, oh, if you want to have good glutes, do this exercise. And you're all out. You want to go. And so you go and do that exercise. And then next week, you see, oh, there's another video from somebody else, also do this exercise if you want to have strong glutes. And so you change to that exercise. And the week after, you change to the next exercise you found. And in the end, you are not following any particular pattern. You don't have a baseline. You can't measure your progress. And what happens in the end? You don't have the strong glutes that you're looking for. And this is what happens with our dogs too. You need to follow a path so you can see the development. And that's what we have done now. So it's finally out. The card is there. We've got our foundation strength program. And in this program, it's not a workshop, it's a full program. So you're going to be with me for about 3 months, and we're going to have a video live connect once a week. And you're going to there'll be 2, maximum 3, depending on the difficulty of the exercise, but around about 2 or even 1 exercise that you're going to work on in a week. And you're going to do these exercises. And even if you think, oh, don't be like me, where I saw an exercise, it's a foundational exercise, you think, oh, my dog can do that, and so you skip it. Do the exercise, but do the exercise addressing the points that we will be showing you and looking at your dog in the way that we show you. Make sure all the body dots are connected, and you will see that your dog is going to be really tired to do some exercise that, oh, my dog can do this. So just do it, and you're going to be really surprised, but it's going to be a pleasant surprise because you're going to go, wow, I never knew that. And you're going to learn this new thing. But not only are you going to learn this new thing about your dog's body, you're going to take that information and you're going to know exactly where it fits into your sport. Because different sports require different strength areas, and we're going to go over that as well. So each week you're going to have these things, and there's going to be a live Q&A. So ask all the questions and let me know what's happening with your dog. We also have an extra part. So if you want to be part of our mentorship group, I've got a 3-month block time for you to join while you're partaking in the strength program. And while you're in the mentorship group, you are going to be able to have access to everything we've done over the past year. All the lessons, all the work, all the information is there. And as you go through any of that information, you can ask me anything. If I don't know, I will find out for you. But you can ask me anything on the work when it comes to fitness and conditioning of your dog. You can post videos of your dog, and you can ask for advice and feedback and see what, and the whole group is, we're going to look at you and you're not look at you, but we're going to look at your dog, and we're going to help you identify things and point things out, and we're going to cheer you on. And I want you to take photographs of your dog before we start, and I want you to take photographs of your dog at the end of the program. And even you are going to stand back and you're going to go, wow, just wow. It's something to see. So it's a 3-month program. Let me just put the link of where you can find all of this information. Let me see if I can put it here. You can go and take a look at it. Let me know if it's there. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you find this interesting. I find it fascinating with the dogs. So go and take a look at our Foundation Strength program. The program has even changed ever so slightly with some additional information because I've received some questions. I've added some things in, and we're going to be going through this. I've done quite a few videos today. You're going to see some things of the dogs that I'm working. You can see some mistakes that are made in handling with the dogs, and I will make those mistakes so you can see exactly what it looks like, and you're going to see this with your own dog too. So go and take a look at the link. If there's any questions, you're most welcome to ask. We are put it through as you can have a full payment. It's a discounted price if you pay all at once, or there's to pay over 2 months at a easier monthly rate for yourself. And then, of course, if you want to have that extra feedback, the community to support you and cheer you on, where you can post videos and ask questions about your dog and your work, then join our mentorship group as well. You don't only get that feedback, but you also get all the other information that is out there when it comes to fitness and conditioning of your dog, how to look at your dog, how to assess your dog. All of those things are there for you to enjoy. If you want to stay with us afterwards, you are most welcome. You can either join on a month-to-month basis or get an annual discount, and we will work with you and your dog for that year as you progress and carry on with your dog, and we will cheer you on. We are the official cheerleader for your dog. So I'm hoping that you have understood that when it comes to training, there's exercise and there's exercise. You always want to have the exercise that is going to promote your sport and correct the imbalances that your sport may be incurring on your dog as you're going through it. By just doing more and more training with your dog doesn't mean that your dog is going to become big and strong and better. You will plateau, and your dog will need to have that extra strength within his body to become a real competitive athlete within his sport. So if there's any questions that you would like to know, please post them, and I'm happy to help you, or you're most welcome to send me an email. My email address is fit@thebiokineticcanine. Let me just put that there. fit@thebiokineticcanine.com. Ask me anything about it. The program has just opened up today. So this week until next week, there's a bit of admin and a little bit of things that you just need to go through and try with your dog. And then from next week, we're starting with the live calls and the exercises and everything else. So you've got this week to decide. If you're unsure, let me know. But I'm hoping to see you there because it's going to be super exciting. All right, everybody. I'm going to say have a very awesome weekend. And let me just put all my stuff here so that you can go and take a look at everything that we can do to help you. We specialize in a lot of injury prevention, and my specialty is your power sports. So I'm an IGP person, I love the power sports and strength training. That's my thing. So when it comes to foundations of strength, you are in the right hands. All right, everybody, I shall see you anon. Have an awesome weekend. Cheers now. Let me put this up. There we go. Bye-bye, everybody.